Hello everybody, welcome back to Access Blockbusters and welcome to a quick non-spoiler reaction to episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again. This video will not contain any spoilers for the episode, so if you have not seen it, no worries, I will not be talking about it in any spoilery detail. However, if you are interested in hearing a more in-depth analysis, a spoiler discussion, stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the Access Blockbusters YouTube channel, make sure to give this video a like and leave a comment because later on in this week, we will be doing, of course, our usual weekly segment where we do a spoiler discussion of the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again in the newest episode of the Access Blockbusters pod. So subscribe if you are interested. But today, we are going to be doing an immediate non-spoiler reaction. Let's get into it. So last week's episodes, I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. Were they perfect? No, absolutely not. But can you expect perfection from everything you watch? No, I don't think so. Episode 2, I said, was a little bit slower, but it was setting up a lot of things some things I liked, some things I didn't like, but overall, I think it was setting up a very good cadence for the show. Episode 1 started off with a bang, obviously. Spoilers for that episode where Foggy dies at the very beginning and we get that epic fight scene. And then at the end of episode 2, it caps it all off with another epic fight scene. But they felt earned, right? Because the conversations in between with Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock grappling with the death of Foggy, where he talks to Karen, where he's trying to move on, trying to find a new love and a new passion. It's all really good. It's also setting up his commitment to defend White Tiger, Hector Ayala, and a lot of other things that will be carried on throughout the rest of the show. So episode 3 comes around, and look, I mean, we've all heard the rumors, right? Daredevil Born Again was cut up, and it was overhauled, and Kevin Feige said, we're going to redo it, and so we've heard the rumors that different episodes come from different parts of the shoot, and what was overhauled, what wasn't. And honestly, at the end of the day, well, yes, I can't help but think about that in the back of my mind, thinking about, okay, what parts of this episode are the old one, the new one, the old show, the newer reshot show? Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It matters what the end product is. And I'm not going to lie. This episode, I was not fully on board with it until the very end, because this episode had the feeling of, this is probably one of the older episodes that they filmed that they kind of looked at and went, yeah, this isn't working as well. Not that the episode in a vacuum was a bad episode. Actually, in fact, the episode as a whole was fine. It was actually quite solid in its own right. But I could slowly start to picture how if this episode, and again, I'm just speculating here, but if this episode was sort of the template of what the older version of the show looked like, and it was just kind of like this every single episode, I can totally see how Marvel would have expected fans to be disappointed. Not, again, that this episode is bad in any way. In fact, there are some very solid moments in the show. This episode, I don't think this is a spoiler in any way, but digs more into the legal drama of it all. And I think for fans who are expecting, punch, punch, action, action, I think that this episode delivers a very different kind of tone. That being said, to me, what helped this episode, what really tied it together, and what separates it from a show like Mandalorian, where Mandalorian, look, has a through line, right, through each season, but to me, it hopped around too much. Each episode was so standalone, nothing really mattered. For the next episode, it was just kind of hopping from planet to planet. We need this part, we need this thing, we need that thing, and it just all felt very jumbled. And I get it, that was what the show was going for. But this, I was worried that this episode was going to be so standalone, it was just going to be like another day in the life of Matt Murdock. But no, actually, I think at the end of the episode, you realize what this episode's place is. Again, whether it was always meant to be this way or whether it's really restructured so that it fits into the overarching story that's going on now, I think it works. You understand now why this episode was necessary to build some tension between some other characters. Also, the ending of the episode has some really interesting moments where you go, okay, so I think it's setting up some things here that we're going to get to see further on down the road, and I'm very interested to see where they go from here. So look, overall, I think episode 3 was different than episodes 1 and 2. And I'm very curious to see how the future episodes of Daredevil Born Again are going to either carry on the tone of episode 1, episode 2, or episode 3, because I think they all are different in their own right. But I think that episode 3, overall, now that I see where it fits into the overarching story that we have so far, is solid, and I think that it could definitely set up a lot of interesting things going forward. There are definitely some really interesting moments in the episode. There are also some things in there that I was like, yeah, not the biggest fan of, but again, I think it's still a pretty solid episode of Daredevil Born Again. Guys, what did you think about episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know in the comments. Again, make sure to subscribe, stay tuned to the channel for the spoiler discussion later on in the week, and I will see you guys in the next one.